Our first question today is, why are today's senior attorneys tired of running their law firms? We are hearing this more and more from today's senior attorneys, that is, attorneys that have practiced for more than 30 years, that they're telling us that they're just tired. And so we've given a lot of thought to, like, why are we hearing from senior attorneys that they're tired? And there's really three reasons for why senior attorneys today are expressing their tiredness, their exhaustion. The first reason is that we're coming out of COVID, right? We're post COVID at this point, but COVID certainly thrust us all as small business owners, and that's who we're mostly working with, small business owner law firms, where that small business owner senior attorney survived COVID in terms of a fight or flight period of 2020, 2021, 2022. How is the business going to survive? I need to work really hard to make sure that I make a living, that attorneys that work with me are doing okay, as is the para staff. Now that we're post COVID and we're filming this in 2024, what we're hearing from senior attorneys is, wow, I still need to make payroll every 2 weeks. I've got a lease or mortgage to pay that comes up once a month. And well, maybe next year I can finally start to slow down. And those thoughts in the post COVID era just lead to many senior attorneys just feeling a sense of being tired. The second reason why senior attorneys are expressing today that they feel tired as they're running their law offices is because they are either realizing or still just hoping that their would be internal successor will walk down the hall on any given afternoon or morning and say, "Hey, now's the time. I want to sit down and have the conversation with you about purchasing the practice." And in reality, most internal successors whom senior attorneys hired as their key employees, they really don't want to purchase your law practice. They can't afford to, and really, they just want to have a job. And what that leads to from a senior attorney standpoint is just being tired from the standpoint of having to not only manage the office, but in large part be responsible for continuing to generate the revenues, that is, to bring in new clients so that those would-be internal successors can continue working. And hence, senior attorneys are just tired from having to continue to run the office, manage the office, and develop the business for those key employees, those would-be internal successors who really don't want to purchase your practice, to keep them hard at work to keep the operation going. The third reason why senior attorneys today are tired, that third reason why senior attorneys today are tired when it comes to running their offices, is that the world has changed. We're living in the post 2020 era, but let's look first of all of how most senior attorneys, that is, attorneys that have practiced for more than 30 years, most of those senior attorneys built their businesses, built their books of business in the pre Google 1.0, what we call word of mouth era. And during that word of mouth era, senior attorneys built their goodwill, their reputations by doing a significant amount of in person networking, non digital thought leadership like leading CLEs, writing articles, sponsoring events, and doing pre what we call Y2K advertising of placing ads in newspapers, publications, the yellow pages, perhaps on TV, perhaps on radio as well. Well, we're now in what we call the 3.0 digital era. And in the 3.0 digital era, the world has absolutely changed in terms of how clients are finding their lawyers and how attorneys and law firms are investing to attract the attention of new clients. In the post 2020 3.0 digital world, Google is both king and queen. We are saying that Uncle Google is America's greatest referral source for lawyers. Uncle Google is also becoming America's greatest rainmaker for developing business for attorneys and law firms. And for those senior attorneys that are not investing in that multi channel digital marketing, it's becoming even harder to develop business. And hence, why senior attorneys are tired in this 3.0 digital era because their thoughts at this point are, wow, I am working even harder than I worked pre 2020 because it's becoming even harder to develop new business. They're wondering, when can I slow down? I wish that I could just take a 2 week vacation. And then every 2 weeks and once a month, they're reminded on a 2 week basis that they've got to still make payroll. And once a month, they've got to pay rent or make a mortgage payment. And hence, senior attorneys are just tired in terms of continuing to run the business.